In the echoes of a falling empire, as the mighty pillars of Rome crumbled, a new era dawned upon the landscapes of Europe, the early Middle Ages. Amidst the remnants of ancient grandeur, fresh buds of change blossomed, painting the canvas of time with hues of turmoil, transformation, and tenacity. This period, often misconceived as an era of darkness, was a vibrant epoch of cultural and religious transformation. Welcome to the first chapter of our exploration into the medieval tapestry, where the threads of ancient beliefs, spiritual figures, and practices known as witchcraft weave a complex and intricate pattern. In this segment of our series, Witches, a Historical Tapestry, we embark upon the windswept realms of Western Europe during the early Middle Ages. Here, amidst the fragmented kingdoms born from Roman shadows, the embers of ancient traditions glow with resilient warmth, whispering tales of druids, seers, and wise women and men who walked the paths of old. Even the term witch will find its early roots, a word that will evolve and shape perceptions throughout history. Yet, in the flickering light, new beliefs arise. As the cross of Christianity reaches out its arms, embracing lands and peoples in its encompassing grasp. How did the spiritual figures of this era, some beginning to be known by the name of witch, navigate the tides of change? How did the burgeoning Christian faith mold, suppress, or intertwine with the timeless whispers of pagan beliefs? What were the tribulations and triumphs that marked the journey of these enigmatic individuals amidst the dawn of the medieval era? These questions guide our exploration as we delve into the diverse perceptions, roles, and portrayals of spiritual figures in this era. Journey with us as we unravel the strands of history, unearthing the stories, beliefs, and legacies of those who wove the magic of the ancients into the tapestry of early medieval life. As we traverse the winding paths of history, the voices of spiritual figures from the past whisper tales of resilience, adaptation, and enduring wisdom amidst the grand panorama of the medieval epoch. Embark upon this mesmerizing voyage and behold the unfolding panorama of a world in transition, where the whispers of old and the call of the new weave a tale of complexity, resilience, and transformation. The evolving perspectives on witches and spiritual figures echo the broader transformation of society, offering a window into the intricate dance of belief, power, and identity in the early medieval world. If you are enjoying this, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out. Thank you. The last echoes of the Roman Empire's grandeur faded into the annals of history, leaving a legacy intertwined with dominance and an unyielding grip on the diverse tapestry of cultures within its expansive realms. As discussed in our previous episode, the Romans often viewed other cultures through a lens of hierarchy, prioritizing control and order. Their encounters with those who worked in harmony with nature and revered it as a source of wisdom and balance clashed with this Roman ethos. This cultural clash fueled the efforts by the Romans to suppress and assimilate those traditions, viewing them as a threat to the Roman order and control. It's very important to think of the fall of the Roman Empire not so much as a fall into darkness, but instead as a significant shift in institutional power dynamics. This period symbolized the decentralization of authority, as the centralized grip of Rome loosened, giving way to the emergence of diverse and localized powers across the European landscape. In further complexity, despite this fragmentation of imperial power, the Church in Rome continued to wield significant centralized influence, reaching across the very territories with a unifying embrace. As the Roman Empire's power waned, a mosaic of fragmented territories emerged, each striving to carve out stability and identity amidst the tumultuous tides of change. Kingdoms rose upon the scattered stones of ancient empires, each echoing the diverse heritage of the tribes and peoples who breathed life into their realms. Amidst the shifting sands of political and territorial transformation, the spiritual landscape too underwent profound change. The ancient pagan beliefs, rich with the reverence for nature, celestial cycles, and myriad deities, intertwined with the growing roots of Christianity, a faith centered on the divine salvation through Christ. Christianity's arms stretched across Europe, its message of unity, salvation, and the promise of eternal life resonating within the hearts of many. Monasteries and churches rose, casting their shadows upon the ancient stones and sacred groves, as the Christian faith sought to embrace the diverse peoples of Europe within its fold. Yet, the ancient whispers did not fade into silence. The pagan traditions, the sacred rites, and the spiritual figures who held the keys to ancient wisdom exhibited resilience amidst the winds of change. Pockets of pagan beliefs thrived, and in many regions a syncretic blend of old and new unfolded, weaving a complex spiritual tapestry enriched with diverse threads of belief, practice, and tradition. In the early Middle Ages, the echoes of the ancient world reverberated across the vast expanses of Europe. Despite the blossoming of Christianity, the whispers of ancient deities, ancestral spirits, and the enduring pulse of earth and stars continued to hum. Even amidst the murmur of flowing waters and the rustle of ancient trees, many communities clung to the ancient paths of their ancestors. These paths were not erased but reshaped, forming new trails where old and new spiritual beliefs walked side by side. While Christianity planted its seeds in the spiritual landscape, the roots of pagan traditions delved even deeper into the European soil. The spiritual figures within these communities became bridges, connecting ancient practices with the new Christian ethos. They adapted, ensuring the survival of old traditions in new forms. They became the keepers of a syncretic spiritual heritage, blending the wisdom of the past with the emerging spiritual landscape of the Middle Ages. Take, for instance, the Christian calendar, which skillfully integrated pagan festivals. The celebration of Christmas aligns with the ancient Roman festival of Saturnalia and winter solstice celebrations from diverse pagan customs. Similarly, figures like St. Bridget of Ireland blur the lines between Christian saints and their pre-Christian counterparts. The festivities of St. Bridget's Day on February 1st resonate with the Celtic festival of Imbolc, dedicated to the goddess Brigid. This Christian saint's association with fire and her guardian role is a poignant reflection of her pagan parallel. Even the sacred terrains transformed their spiritual affiliations. Ancient wells, revered groves, and stone circles, previously hubs for pagan worship, often underwent metamorphoses into Christian chapels, churches, or became sanctified through associations with Christian saints. Notably, the Glastonbury Tor in England, steeped in pagan lore, later became sanctified ground for a Christian monastery. Despite the encroachment of Christianity and its burgeoning embrace by kings and commoners alike, the roots of pagan traditions delved deep into the soil of Europe. The spiritual whispers of the old ways were particularly vibrant in the rural realms, where the immediacy of nature's cycles and forces resonated in the rhythms of daily life. Here, amidst the rustle of leaves and the murmur of flowing waters, many communities clung to the ancient paths of their ancestors, paths woven with the sacred threads of earthly and cosmic connection. The spiritual figures within these pagan communities were the bearers of ancient wisdom and the guardians of sacred practices. They were the seers who read the language of the stars, the healers who knew the secrets of herb and stone, and the leaders who guided rituals that bound communities in a web of shared belief and ancestral connection. The pagan traditions of the early Middle Ages were infused with a profound reverence for the sacred times, spaces, and actions that wove the human and the divine into a vibrant tapestry of spiritual communion. In the Mosaic realms of the early Middle Ages, spiritual figures from both pagan and Christian traditions etched their paths within the intricate weave of society. They navigated the diverse and shifting landscapes, often bridging the gap between ancient and emerging beliefs. Pagan seers and Christian monks, despite their different spiritual orientations, sometimes found common ground. They engaged in dialogues, exchanges, and even collaborations, weaving a richer tapestry of spiritual life in early medieval Europe. In the interplay of spirituality, society, and the individual, these figures showcase the dynamic and adaptive nature of spiritual life amidst the shifting sands of time and change. In the quiet corners of the early Middle Ages, where ancient forests whispered and rivers hummed age-old songs, individuals engaged in witchcraft or pagan traditions embraced a profound and intimate self-perception. This perception was not merely a reflection of their external roles, but a deep, intrinsic resonance with the spiritual realms that entwined with the material world. While the spiritual figures of the early Middle Ages had various names and titles in different cultures, the term witch, derived from the Old English Wicca, began to gain prominence around the 10th century. Initially, it might have referred to wise people, healers, or those who had knowledge of herbs and natural remedies. But as centuries progressed, its meaning evolved, influenced by societal and religious shifts. Ancient texts and artifacts, though sparse, offer glimpses into this self-perception. The practitioners viewed themselves as the weavers of the cosmic dance, their souls in harmonious synchrony with the pulsations of the earth, the stars, and the ethereal realms beyond. The celebrated historian and monk Bede, in his work Ecclesiastical History of the English People, expresses a certain respect for the pagan traditions by highlighting the importance of the natural world to spiritual beliefs. They worshipped idols, following the practices of the nations whom they had thrown out in favor of themselves. An exploration into their self-perception reveals the pivotal role of spiritual beliefs, rituals, and communities in shaping their identities and perspectives. These were not mere aspects of their lives, they were the vibrant threads that wove the tapestry of their existence, intertwining with every breath, every heartbeat, and every whisper of wind through the ancient oaks. In their embrace of the ancient paths, practitioners shouldered significant roles and responsibilities within their communities. Their commitment to healing, guidance, and the preservation of ancient traditions and knowledge echoed in the corridors of time, resonating within the oral traditions and the sacred sites that dappled the landscapes of Europe. Their roles transcended the physical realms, reaching into the ethereal dimensions where spirits whispered and cosmic energies flowed. Within their communities, practitioners were the keepers of balance, the mediators of the delicate dance between the mortal and the divine, the temporal and the eternal. Their responsibilities, as gleaned from historical records and archaeological findings, were imbued with a sacred trust, a commitment to the well-being, harmony, and spiritual nourishment of their people. An example from the Lacnunga, a 10th to 11th century Old English collection of medical remedies, includes charms and incantations alongside the herbal remedies, reflecting a holistic approach to healing that transcends physical ailments, invoking spiritual and cosmic energies to restore balance and well-being. Yet, amidst the reverent echoes of ancient stones and the harmonious hum of the earth, practitioners faced formidable challenges. Societal and religious opposition began to cast shadows upon their paths, a discordant note in the symphonic dance of their spiritual journey. In the early Middle Ages, accusations and trials were indeed rare, but the concept of witchcraft was slowly taking shape, and the church's attitude toward magic and paganism was being formulated. Although there was not yet a systematic or organized effort to seek out and persecute individuals for witchcraft, local beliefs in magic and various practices, some remnants of pre-Christian pagan traditions, were suppressed as the church worked to Christianize Europe. Legal codes of some early medieval kingdoms included provisions against malevolent magic or sorcery, indicating these were concerns of secular as well as religious authorities. One significant reference comes from Gregory of Tours, a historian of the Merovingian court in the Frankish kingdom in the 6th century. In his Histories, Gregory offers insights into the role of witchcraft and magic in the intrigues of the Frankish nobility. Queen Fredegund, known for her ruthless political machinations, is frequently associated with employing sorcery and poison to eliminate her rivals. While Gregory's accounts often blend politics with tales of supernatural retribution, they shed light on the complex interplay between power, perception, and the supernatural in early medieval courtly life. These tales, while sensational, did not represent systematic or widespread persecution. However, they serve as early indicators of the tensions that would escalate in subsequent centuries. Practitioners of the time showcased resilience, adapting their practices and often finding ways to blend their ancient traditions with the evolving spiritual landscape. In the gentle murmurs of sacred groves and the quiet chants of hidden rituals, they found solace, strength, and the enduring pulse of the ancient world, ensuring the continuity of their traditions amidst the ever-changing tides of society and belief. Amidst the mosaic of early medieval communities, the perception of witches and spiritual figures danced upon the delicate scales of reverence and suspicion. The societal gaze that fell upon these individuals was as diverse as the lands that stretched across the European continent. In the early Middle Ages, communities were intertwined tapestries of ancient pagan traditions and emerging Christian beliefs. This intersection of faiths and worldviews painted a complex picture of societal perceptions. In areas where pagan beliefs held steadfast, spiritual figures often commanded respect and reverence. Their roles as healers, seers, and keepers of ancient wisdom anchored them as esteemed pillars within their communities. Yet, the expanding influence of Christianity cast ripples of change across the societal landscape. Church documents and edicts from this era reflect an escalating effort to suppress pagan practices and beliefs. The councils of Elvira and Ancyra, for instance, held provisions against various forms of magic and pagan rituals, indicating the church's growing unease and opposition towards these practices. This shift in spiritual tides stirred undercurrents of suspicion, fear, and at times hostility towards individuals engaged in witchcraft or pagan traditions. The perception of witches and spiritual figures was a prism reflecting the diverse spiritual and cultural hues of early medieval communities. In the whispering shadows of ancient groves, reverence and respect for these individuals echoed in the chants and rituals of pagan gatherings. Yet, amidst the chiseled stones of burgeoning churches, whispers of suspicion and fear intertwined with the incense-infused air. This delicate balance, swayed by the winds of spiritual evolution and societal change, defined the communal gaze upon witches and spiritual figures, etching a multifaceted portrayal upon the annals of history. In the dawning light of the early Middle Ages, the Christian Church unfurled its spiritual embrace across the landscapes of Europe. Its gaze cast upon the intricate tapestry of diverse beliefs and practices that adorned the continent. The Church's stance on pagan spiritual figures, witchcraft, and other non-Christian spiritual practices was a complex mosaic, reflecting the evolving spiritual consciousness of the era. In this period, the Church largely dismissed the existence of witches and their purported powers. The Canon Episcopi, a seminal church document, declared belief in such entities and their abilities as heretical. This declaration echoed the Church's affirmation of the omnipotent power of God, a celestial force beyond the reach of earthly or demonic influences. The early medieval Church emphasized the shield of faith, asserting that unwavering belief in God offered impenetrable protection against any alleged malevolent forces. So, a person who came to the Church to accuse someone else of witchcraft would more likely find themselves under persecution than the person they accused. Yet, amidst the spiritual currents, the Church's gaze upon pagan communities and their traditions bore a different hue. Efforts to convert these communities and eradicate pagan beliefs and practices were infused with a zealous fervor. The councils of Elvira and Ancira, as previously mentioned, held provisions against various forms of magic and pagan rituals, manifesting the Church's endeavor to extinguish the embers of ancient traditions and kindle the flames of Christian faith across the European realm. Amidst the spiritual evolution, the Church's perspective on its own spiritual figures, such as monks, nuns, and hermits, also unfurled in diverse directions. These individuals, cloaked in the robes of Christian devotion, were esteemed as vessels of divine grace and wisdom. Yet, the boundaries between Christian piety and pagan practices often danced in delicate balance, as syncretic beliefs and traditions whispered amidst the spiritual tapestry. In this intricate panorama, the early medieval Church navigated the diverse pathways of spiritual beliefs and practices, its stance evolving with the tides of historical and societal change. The portrayal of witches and spiritual figures, whether cloaked in pagan traditions or Christian devotion, reflected the multifaceted spiritual mosaic of the era, a delicate dance amidst the celestial and earthly realms. In the varied realms of the early Middle Ages, secular authorities, kings and nobles, wielded their scepters over the diverse landscapes of Europe. Amidst their dominions, spiritual figures and practices wove ethereal threads, intertwining with the secular strands of authority and governance. The attitudes of these secular authorities towards spiritual figures and practices unfurled in a spectrum of hues, reflecting the diverse cultural, societal, and historical contexts of their realms. In some regions, kings and nobles beheld spiritual figures with a gaze of reverence and respect. The ancient traditions, echoing the whispers of the earth and the cosmos, held a cherished place within the societal and cultural realms. Spiritual figures, whether cloaked in the robes of pagan traditions or the garments of Christian faith, were esteemed as keepers of wisdom, healing, and celestial connection. In the courts of some monarchs, spiritual figures assumed esteemed roles, their voices whispering guidance and insight amidst the corridors of power. Yet, in other realms, the gaze of secular authorities cast shadows of suspicion and skepticism upon spiritual figures and practices. The evolving tide of Christianity, unfurling its celestial embrace across Europe, infused the perspectives of kings and nobles with a zealous fervor for Christian orthodoxy. In these corridors of power, pagan traditions and practices brushed against the walls of opposition, their ethereal whispers clashing with the resounding echoes of Christian doctrine. Despite the diverse perspectives, the intertwined relationships between spiritual figures and secular authorities wove a delicate dance. In some courts, spiritual figures navigated the realms of nobility, their ethereal insights illuminating the paths of governance and leadership. The celestial dance of the heavens mirrored in the earthly realms of power, reflected the intricate interplay between the spiritual and the secular. In the eyes of authority, spiritual figures traversed the intricate landscapes of perception and portrayal, their roles and relationships reflecting the diverse spiritual, cultural, and historical currents of the early Middle Ages. Amidst the corridors of power, the echoes of ancient traditions whispered in harmonious synchrony with the resounding hymns of Christian faith, weaving a celestial tapestry across the realms of kings and nobles. As the shadows of the early Middle Ages lengthened into the tapestry of time, the spiritual landscape of Western Europe emerged as a vibrant and intricate mosaic. At the crossroads of change, amidst the remnants of ancient empires and the dawn of new kingdoms, spiritual figures, often termed witches, etched their indelible mark upon the annals of history. Through their eyes, and those of their communities, the church, and secular authorities, we witness a dance of resilience, adaptation, and transformation. The tales of these spiritual figures, whether pagan seers, Christian monks, or the merging of both traditions, offer a window into the profound complexities of a Europe in transition. Their stories, woven with the threads of reverence, suspicion, and evolution, illuminate the delicate balance of power, belief, and identity during this transformative era. In tracing their journeys, we not only delve into the beliefs and practices of the past, but also unravel the intricate web of cultural and religious dynamics that shaped the medieval world. The echoes of their voices, resonating with wisdom, challenges, and enduring spirit, beckon us to reflect on the timeless dance of humanity amidst the shifting sands of belief and tradition. But the journey does not end here. As we stand upon the threshold of the High and Late Middle Ages, new patterns emerge in the historical tapestry, revealing further complexities in the perceptions, roles, and portrayals of witches and spiritual figures. Join us in the next segment as we traverse the winding pathways of the High and Late Middle Ages, unearthing the stories and legacies that have shaped the evolving panorama of witchcraft and spirituality in the medieval world.